In 2008, America's financial system collapsed because Wall Street turned housing into a casino. Banks issued subprime mortgages, risky loans to borrowers with poor credit, and bundled them into mortgage-backed securities, tradable products sold worldwide. Rating agencies, paid by the very banks they judged, stamped these securities as AAA safe. But why the obsession with housing? In the decades before the crisis, America offshored much of its manufacturing base. Corporations adopted asset-light models, outsourcing production while chasing higher returns in finance. With wages stagnating and the real economy hollowed out, capital poured into financial products. Housing became the substitute for growth, and mortgages, well, they became Wall Street's new raw material. Between 2001 and 2007, mortgage debt nearly doubled from $5 trillion to $10 trillion. By 2006, 1 in 5 mortgages was subprime. When interest rates rose and home prices stopped climbing, defaults spiked. The damage was magnified by leverage. Banks borrowed $30 for every 1 in real capital, so a 3 to 4% drop in housing values wiped out entire balance sheets. On top of that, firms like AIG sold credit default swaps, insurance contracts that promised to cover losses on these securities. The CDS market allowed investors to bet on mortgage defaults without owning the underlying loans, creating multiple layers of exposure far larger than the actual value of the housing market itself. These swaps were in enormous volumes, often without sufficient reserves to honor them. When mortgages went bad, the CDS market turned the housing downturn into a systemic implosion. Lehman Brothers collapsed. AIG needed a $180 billion bailout. Trillions in household wealth evaporated, and unemployment doubled to 10%. The core failure wasn't mere risk, it was detachment from reality. Finance no longer built factories or funded innovation, it gambled on paper. Housing, a vital social need, was traded like poker chips until the entire house of cards fell. Alexander Hamilton, America's first Treasury Secretary, envisioned finance as the servant of national industry and resilience. The 2008 crisis showed what happens when that duty is abandoned. Rather than finance and investment fueling the growth of our economy and enabling us to compete with our adversaries, it is devouring our jobs and productive power in pursuit of paper. To prevent the next collapse, America must realign capital with production, not speculation.